Broadcasting basically live from your average Sunday church. It's your boy, a big ass nun! And today, we're going to analyze the new version 1.7.1 update for Dragalia Lost. One of the possibly the most generous update for even in mobile history. So, what is this update about? Why is it so generous? Why am I giving it such high praise? Well, I'm a guy who's played mobile games for years. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Thinking that maybe this game would be better, maybe that game would be better. But, I went from Years of Me, Fire Emblem Heroes, and for all my experience, I have never seen any game that is as generous as ones that are being provided by Cygames right now. I don't know how they treat Grand Blue, but right now what I'm seeing with Dragalia Lost is completely blowing my mind. I have no idea how a game company could be that generous when, they could easily rip us off and that'd be the end of it, and we can still be happy about it with a stick up our ass. That's because that's what's going on with Fire Emblem Heroes right now, but that's another can of worms altogether. Point is that they didn't have to be that generous, and yet for some reason it's a gift that keeps on giving with them. I don't know what their story is. I don't know if there's any hidden agendas, but it's an amazing update, so we're going to absorb it together in this version update talk. We're going to analyze this. Perhaps you may find out the secret behind the words. Perhaps you may know why Cygames suddenly decides to be so generous to give us all these wonderful things. Or maybe it's just goodwill. Maybe there is a hidden agenda. Let us find out together. So, starting first is how summoning and worm prints are acquired. This is a change that was mentioned a couple weeks ago, but we will recap it real quick. So after the maintenance tonight, worm prints will no longer appear while summoning. Going forward, you will acquire worm prints in quests or trading for them in the shop using Eldwater. That's amazing! The fact that you can acquire them in quests is absolutely amazing. Do you know how often you have to go on a quest? You go on quests, hundreds of quests, and you don't even notice because they're daily things that you do. They don't take all that long. You can even auto battle. You auto battle with 2 times speed. Really, really quick. And then all of a sudden, hey, I managed to score a card. Something that used to be, it cost thousands upon thousands of wormites and dimanium, perhaps even money. People spend a lot of money on worm prints sometimes. There are people who do this, like me. I mean, I spent a lot for chocolate leaders, but that's a limited one, so, we kind of... There are people who would spend a lot of money on other prints, such as, the Shining Overlord. Shining Overlord is a very good card. I have to actually talk about that later as well, but, I'll go on the topic on which worm prints are good and which worm prints are bad when I actually make the whole worm print guide for this post-update situation. I still need to look at the shops in general. I kind of need to make my decision a little more informed, so I want to wait a little bit before actually making it. Not to mention, I'm so excited playing that stupid Fire Emblem collab. It's gonna be a little bit of time. But anyway, I wasted time with that. Let's just recap with the summoning notification from before. So basically, not only do you get to earn worm prints in quests and such, and you can spend Eldwater for them, a modest amount of Eldwater. If you have none of those worm prints to begin with, adding it up, you can spend 37k for a max unbound worm print. That is amazing. Do you know how much money you would have otherwise spent if you've done this before this update? This is significant. And even then, people don't care about worm prints. Some people just want the adventurers, some people want the dragons. So now that they're away from the pool, this is a very, very significant change. I am very glad for this change because now I can guarantee myself getting worm prints, and I don't have to worry about worm prints blocking me from getting the dragons or adventurers that I need. It's such a good update. I mean, yeah, I guess that would also increase the number of trash adventurers or repeat adventures that I would get, but that's not a big deal. It's not a big deal because now you get so much Eld Water. Like, if you get a dupe, instead of getting a mere 3,000 Eld Water, you now get almost 3 times the amount. 8,500. Dude, Jesus Christ, man. I have like 200k Eld Water right now. At the end of this update, I would probably get like 500, 600k. And I'm going to be swimming in that crap, and I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with all this Eld Water. But chances are I'm going to have a lot of max unbound worm prints that I'll show you guys. I'm going to have a lot of maxed out adventures I'll show you guys. I'll make a guide on it. I'll do a guide as soon as I, get that Fire Emblem Heroes collab out of my system. But that's basically what this is about. All these things that you get extra Eld Water for. It's a little recap. It's already been covered like a couple weeks ago, so we don't need to go too overboard with that. And then we have the Fire Emblem Heroes collab that I just talked about earlier. That is pretty good. I don't know how that works, but it looks like Dynasty Warriors at the moment, and I love Dynasty Warriors. We're gonna go further into detail about this, but for now, I think of these defense battles kind of like, Defense Relay from Fire Emblem Heroes. I feel like they just kind of moved it over. They just moved it over from Fire Emblem Heroes after it failed miserably and brought it over here. How it'll work and if it'll work well remains to be seen, but I will be sure to do this first thing when reset happens. But I'll go over the whole event for Fire Emblem Heroes later. Different from this update. Besides that, we now have AI adjustments for allies on your teams. Hey, guess what? Your allies can now do Force Strikes! Now they're even better than some players that you group up with in like co-op matches. That's actually out of control. I mean, sure, yeah, I can understand, because back then I had some problems with Force Striking as well, because the controls just didn't work, but now they actually makes it a little more sensitive, and you kind of need to Force Strike to do a lot of things. You have to break the enemies. Your sword users are going to be like half as effective if they don't Force Strike. So that was one of the main problems that AI had, because they don't know how to use Force Strikes. Now that they can do it themselves, this is going to be... Dude, this game practically plays itself at this point. Your auto allies are so good that they're even better than some players. It's ridiculous. I honestly think that this game might be overdoing it in some places, because like I said, the game could practically play itself at this point. You just gear it with some worm prints, the aforementioned worm prints, and now you have mana out the ass, you have like crystals out the ass. You can build a maxed out characters in like 5 minutes. The moment you acquired it, as long as you have the resources, which you will, because there's shitting resources everywhere right now. Anything you do, you're tripping on resources. So you're going to have a maxed out character very easily, as opposed to in the beginning, the lifetime of this game. But anyway, so now AIs can do Force Strike. It's very significant. But hey, guess what? We haven't forgotten about co-ops. So now we're going to have co-op rooms where we can create with conditions. I mean, you still can't quite count on AIs to do everything perfect. You can't expect them to dodge perfectly. You can't expect them to follow mechanics from high dragons and such perfectly. There's a bit of a... you wouldn't want to do that anyway, because can you imagine like them doing all the work? Then you won't even play the game at all with anyone else. So co-op now, you have this thing where you could select a thing, earn epithets, or clear quest endeavors, repeated quests, or seek help. So now that you have objectives in mind, you can actually join a room and actually be able to co-op properly with other people. Instead of like you're looking at them use their stickers, remotes, like what the hell does this guy want? Now you know what the hell they want, and if you were to join these rooms, you can anticipate on what you're actually going to be doing in these rooms. This is a good step forward, and I feel like maybe it's better than how the other games handled it. The other games, they just have like an open chat room, but you know how chatting in a stupid cell phone is sometimes? You just like tap, tap, tap away. Sometimes you don't even get to finish your sentence and they start a map. That's what happens in Langrisser a lot, and I like this little change where you know what kind of room you're entering before you even enter, so you know what you're in for. And the other thing is that you now get to see a room list based on the co-op screen of each quest. So now say, oh, I want to go to Imperial Onslaught. Now I'll see all the rooms are Imperial Onslaught instead of like back in the main menu where you see like all these different co-op rooms and most of them you don't want to go to. You just want to go and do Imperial Onslaught. Well, now you have, if you go there, you'll get to see a selection of rooms, and those rooms will say, oh yeah, I'm new, I just need some help, oh, we're just repeating it because, you know, we're farming Imperial Onslaught. Well, now you can easily do that. This is a good update. Of course, it's not about generosity or anything, it's just being good in general. A good quality of life is what, among other things, is what makes a game runs well. See, the problem with Langrisser I'm currently facing is that while the game is good, its quality of life is a little poor, shall we say. I'm currently spending like, it would take me an hour to finish all my dailies, if generously say. There's so much you have to do in the game. It takes forever to finish, and well, it's just not a quick game. It takes a while to get done, and when you join a room, you don't know what you're in for. So sometimes you kind of join a room and those guys die to mobs that they shouldn't die to. It's just a whole mess. I like this quality of life where you know what you're doing, what you're in for. You find a new player looking for a room. If you think you're not up for it, then don't worry about it. Don't join them. You can be overpowered, then you can join them. But at least you know you won't be disappointed. Whereas in other games, in a room and you see this dude with like half the level of the mobs in there, they die in one hit. Then you realize you've just wasted like 2 or 3 minutes, perhaps more, on waiting for loading and all that crap for these things to get done. Because now cell phone games are getting more and more complicated, more complex, so they all take a little while to load. You don't want to sit through loading time. Come on, just get the stuff done. Everything will be well. And another change is that instead of showing the character's picture in the background, now you get to see the dragon's picture, which is a lot more useful than just seeing a silhouette of Udin again. Now you get to see this. Now you know that, oh yeah, this Udin you're using, Brunhilde, oh, they're kind of poor, but you know what, he's probably a new player, we'll help him out. But, you know, now you can't have, like, say, a Mikoto using a phoenix to try to pad up his might. Nope. The truth is revealed. We now know the truth of what you do. So, instead of, people trying to fool others, now your deeds are exposed for all to see. And also, I mean, this is good to team around certain dragons. Some dragons are better at different situations than others. Say, for example, that Pazuzu thing is good for poison. So you see this guy coming in with Pazuzu, but he doesn't have a poison adventure. But you might happen to just have a poison adventure. Say, look, this guy, I don't know, this Granzo, there. This Gala Ranzo comes in with a Pazuzu. He decides to summon and manage to get one, but he doesn't have a poison. So, and you, Louise, has one. So you decide to go and join up with this guy. You switch to your Louise instead of your Maribel because now all of a sudden you have Pazuzu. But quite a bit better than Louise, but that's an opinion for another time. Anyway, so along with these features, I'm resetting the number of times you can earn social rewards from co-oping with other players. So now you have more incentive to co-op with other people. This social reward's been reset a couple times already. I think by New Year's there was one. I don't know if there was another time. But now there's another one. So each of these times where you do 50, where you co-op with 50 different players, you get like 50 Wormites and add that up to 2,500 Wormites. That's quite significant. That's a tenfold and... Actually, no, wait. That's like 2 tenfolds now that the summoning has been changed. Yeah, we get cheaper summonings now. Instead of like 150 for summon, it's now 120. It's like a 20% cheaper rate. And that's a good thing. I mean, like, there are people who spent lots of money, like me, and like they want reimbursements, but honestly, you can't expect that. You can't expect them to just reimburse you that much Wormites. I'm already like overwhelmed by all this Eldwater. So, I mean, just think of it as us being generous back to a generous developer. There's no reason to demand for additional summoning. There's no need. This game is already so good to you. There's no reason to overboard. I feel like, you know, some people who are actually upset about it might be a little greedy on this. I mean, okay, I understand you have spent a lot of money. I spent a lot of money on this, but, you know, come on, it's only 20%. It means that your future summons will be bright. It's not a big deal. Yeah, you know, blah, 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 blah. But you have to also consider this. The guys who played before have all these facilities. They have a lot of advantages. You don't really lose that much. Yeah, you spend a little bit extra money, whatever. It's money that you would have spent anyway, because if you callously spend money on a cell phone game, chances are you'll spend it on some other crap as well. So, something that you would have spent anyway. Don't be so upset. Don't worry. Be happy. Like me. Spent hundreds and thousands of dollars. Don't feel a thing. Because, well, you know, you spend money, you knew you have to spend money. If you spend money and you don't have enough to support yourself, then you need to seek help. I only do it because I have and I can support myself, and I don't have any problems with it. It is money that I have just laying around. But if you have a problem, don't do it. Then you have a legitimate problem. But, you know, if you have a legitimate problem with this in the first place, hey, wait a minute, what am I going to... I've already said that before. Let's go talk about something else. So abilities for Worm Prince, this is also another significant update. So now, instead of like you being all or nothing for Worm Prince, where you know how like you have to unbound Worm Prince and you have to do max unbound before you get all the abilities. Now, merely a second time will be able to get you an upgrade, which is good. Instead of all or nothing, now you have something midway. So this is also a very generous change, because back then you have to get max unbound in order to get the full effect of that Worm Print. Now halfway is not so bad. It's pretty decent. So I don't know why they are so suddenly so generous with all this. It could be the feedback, it could be something else, but this is very, very generous. They could just not include this. Nobody asked for it. They did it. So, anyway, then we have attacking enemies who are knocked down. You're now possible to damage enemies that's been knocked down. If you've played any other games, or well, just this game in general, any game, action games, when people fall down, you can't hurt them. They have invulnerability frames. Now you can hurt them, and this is great because you know how many stupid weapons that had problems with that? Back in the day, lances have problems with that. In fact, they kind of still do if you don't finish them off in that one attack string. Well, now you can still hit them while they're down. I'm just a little afraid that this might also translate to players. Hopefully it doesn't, because I'm the type of guy who likes to abuse invulnerability frames. Sometimes you can't abuse it all the time, so you just fall on the ground. You get hit, you fall on the ground. Well, I like to abuse it one last time by just keep laying on the ground while, I don't know, like Midgard uses his 8-way over my otherwise corpse and just kind of blow over, and I'll be alive because I'm laying on the ground and I have my invulnerability frames protecting me. Well, it's a bit of a stretch. It's very dangerous. You don't want to do something like that, but it's a bit of a last resort. If you're the kind of guy who fights all the time, you look for any opportunities, you look for any advantages you can get, and falling down and having a couple seconds of invulnerability frames is definitely one of those. Still, hopefully that it only for enemies. I mean, it just says enemies here, so maybe it's just for enemies, and we'll be safe to do these nonsense over and over again. And this is also really good. As a matter of fact, we actually already kind of have this. You sort. You go to sort, and then you can start seeing like this assortment of different abilities each Worm Prince has. But this is still good. Now you can see them in like side view just by doing this, pushing this switch button, and now you get to see abilities of these Worm Prince easier. Additional teams. Now you can have a team from 6 to 9. I bet they did this on purpose for 69. Well, regardless of what, this is a good thing. I've always had problems with having enough teams. Usually you have to fill teams for all the elements, but sometimes I need to have, like I was filling up teams for Imperial Onslaught, but sometimes I need to do it for an event, like a light event. The Imperial Onslaught team is not meant for dealing with other things that say inflict paralysis. They're there just to block blind. So now I have an extra team. That's where Team 7 comes in. I have a team that uses, oh, I don't know, just general content clear. And general content clear, I have to have an Uden in there because Uden, or Liu Bu, my main character, is needed to give me 15% extra EXP. I'm a kind of a guy who wants to get as much as possible. So in doing so, now I have a team specifically for this rather than having to constantly change it around. 6 wasn't enough, so 9 hopefully would be enough. I don't think I'll need more, but we'll see down the line. Meanwhile, let us go and give a moment of silence. Press F to show respects, to pay respects to these emotes that are now gone, ripped from us forever. Nope. Really? And grrr. Now they're replaced with happy things like, on me, I can, you got this, so encouraging, positive reinforcement. Yeah, I honestly don't know why they decided to get rid of these stickers. I mean, yeah, I can see people get upset with nope, but it honestly isn't a big deal. You can roll thicker skins than that, but I also... Me, I don't care. I find it kind of funny. I find nope to be kind of funny. It's just, you know, just look at Cleo's face. I mean, just and Cleo is hot, so you know there's that. And you know the Elizan is also hot, but nope. Now we're replacing with Uden and Lucas. Ooh. I don't know, man. This change is so terrible. I'm just gonna miss Nope so much. I mean, just look at this. The left side is just so much attitude and so much negativity, whereas this one is just so bright and colorful, as if we don't have enough of those emotes already. But, you know, so to speak, then people have different tastes. I guess I'll just have to... This isn't what this video is. We can talk about how Nope is another time. Alright, so now this is where you will go to trade for Worm Prints. Use Eldwater, trade for Worm Prints. Oh, yada yada. Featured. Ooh, featured. Oh, I see. This is kind of cool. So now you can see the new ones that popped up as featured. Probably going to be 5. Prints and Worm Prints available for trade for a limited time. So I'm guessing what they might do is that they're going to do, say, Chocolators, right? That's something that we got from Valentine's, but they might bring it like 6 months from then and put it in the limited time thing as a limited shop item. That could happen. It might cost a bit more, but it's worthwhile. It's a good print. I honestly have to talk about these prints soon, like as soon as I finish wrapping up with the Fire Emblem things. But yeah, I'll definitely make a guide about this. I'll make a guide about all the Worm Prints that I think are great, the combos that you can make with them, yada 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 yada. Alright, checking copies held, so now you get to know how many of those Worm Prints that you actually have. I actually had a problem with this because, like, I was merging those extra copies of Worm Prints. Like I told you, I summon a whole ton. So sometimes I just want a max and bound, say, Scorn, Destrier. I can't pronounce it. Anyway, but sometimes I'm like, hey, do I have enough of this? Or sometimes I accidentally sold a max unbound one that I was holding on to as a gallery item because I forgot to lock it or something like that. With this, now I hopefully will be able to see this a little bit better. Fully Unbound button. The Fully Unbound button that you can now check the abilities of the Worm Prints when fully unbound. Well, there you go. This is even better. Now you get to know how good a Worm Print is before you invest on it. Okay, so what are the other changes? Adventures no longer turn around when damaged. Ooh, that's important. That's actually kind of important. Well, but when knocked back, adventures will face the direction of the damage they receive. So you know how, like, sometimes when you get hit and then go, ooh, and then you switch your target? Well, now you don't have to worry about that. This is a good thing. When you turn around, you also something else. It's so annoying, so this is good. So that don't allow any of your teams to fall in battle completion. Now apply to your own party in raid. Oh, this is great. This is beautiful. Yes! In raids, you can't always count on people to survive. Sometimes, you know, people slip and they get killed. Sometimes they, you know, decide, oh yeah, I'm gonna bring a really low level character because, you know, I needed something to pad my team. Well, now you don't have to worry about them dying, because now only your own party is counted for raid parties. This is good. I didn't even know about this. The animation and several screens have been shortened to raise the overall pace. Yes! This is also good. Yes. Like I said, these quality of life changes are gonna speed the game up so nicely. I am very pleased. It's now clearer that you can reach the exchange limit. Okay, yeah, this is good. The exchange limit for an item. Yeah, the trade. Item trade has been adjusted to make it clearer that what you're trading for. That's also good. The schedule button. Schedule button. Oh, now they're gonna show the schedule for the void battles too. Yes, 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 yes. I had a problem with that. I was like, oh, when is this battle gonna show up? When's that battle gonna show up? You have to otherwise go on a separate page to like go on a web page for it. Now it'll actually show it. Very good, very good. I'm pleased by this. Weapon abilities and managed sword conditions. Okay, yeah, that's also good. There's the conditions that I was talking about earlier for worm prints. Now you have it for weapons as well. So now you know which ones. Specific situation. Tapping close after enhancing now returns you to the enhanced tab. Yes, that is good. After upgrading to the maximum level, now returns to the upgrade screen of that. Yep, yep. So more quality of life changes instead of so making you go different menus just to go back to that place. Summoning of each summon, order of each summoning has been changed to summon screen and the effect. Yes, yes. So you know how certain skills or certain weapons they have this conditional extra strength and stuff like that. Now they'll show you the power that they have contained within without, well, meeting that condition, I guess. So now you actually have your character look a little more beefy compared to before when they look really, well, really shitty because you have these conditional based things, and whereas, you know, other people don't. Like, say for example, someone with Sephir, and comparing to someone with Pazuzu, something like that. The guy with Pazuzu will be more, well, I suppose, I haven't actually seen it yet, or with some other HP things will actually be even out to someone who has Sephir. Anyway, any effects that triggers 100% will be applied. This is merely a display change. It will not increase might. Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's a cute note. It is a display change. I mean, like a one hit. Oh, you're all of a sudden your dick is limp. It is very sad. Balance adjustments. Ooh, this is very important. Quests like the main campaign will now drop worm prints with 3-star rarity that formerly appeared in. Up, that's what we were just talking about earlier. This is a very significant change. You do quests all the time, so now you will accidentally trip over something that would have otherwise cost you 3,000 eld water. Right? It doesn't matter. That would have otherwise cost you a lot of eld water. In other words, worm prints are going to be shitting everywhere. You're going to be easily able to max out your character in its most extreme way easily now. Consider the increased opportunity for crafting weapons due to the additional void bag. We've increased the amount. Yup, 100. That's good. Yes, my stupid weapon thing has always been filled up. So now they just increase it by 100, because otherwise you would have spent like worm lights, I don't even know how many, like 30 for like 5 or something like that. It's so stupid. Now they've given this for us for free. This is good, because stupid void battles have been flooding me with weapons. I've actually gotten to a habit of selling everything that is 4 stars or below. That's how bad it is right now. Well, with this, now I have more space to be a little more lenient. Okay, so the amount of rewards and number of times the dailies bonus can be adjusted into increase in overall game elements. Okay, alright, so perhaps we'll get more stuff. More mats. I don't know what this means exactly, but I suppose we'll get more mats for Imperial Onslaught or something. Hopefully. Okay, increase the potency of co-ability effects for 3 stars, 4 stars, making the effects match those of 5 stars, adventurous, and fully upgraded. Yes! This is a great change. This is yet another great quality of life change. Now, there are people who really like 3-star characters, like myself, for example. I love Althemia. Althemia is awesome, but her healer form is sadly a little, well, sad. Her regular one, though, is pretty good. She plays like Maribel. Maintain your health at 100% and you do chunks of damage. Well, one of the problems she had is that being a 3-star, your your core ability is like what? It starts at like 2% and it adds up to like. I don't even know. It's up to. Oh no, wait. I think it goes from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anyway, it's really terrible. Now it'll match the effects of 5-star adventures, and I am pleased by this. Instead of having a limp dick, now my 3-star characters actually could sort of perform just as well as a 5-star, which makes it so that if you have a waifu that is 3 stars, you are much better off now. I am very pleased to see this. Elemental scales have been removed from materials obtained or obtaining skills from the second. Oh, this is also good. This is great for new players. I mean, it's not a big deal for me, but now we're gonna get extra elemental scales. Oh my god! I love the way they've been keeping track of everything we've been doing. So if you cheat, well, you can expect to get your ass kicked. But if you don't, you can expect to get yourself reimbursed every time when something like this happens. The pulse adjustment stats will be applied to your team might when you remember blah blah blah. Time regards margin being a mirror. Really? Glorious Tempest, I don't know if it makes it higher or makes it lower, but it probably will be. Yep, the maximum value of the following Wormprints ability have been raised. It seems like they've just been buffing things across the board, so chances are they'll probably make high midgard Samar even easier than before. If it's even possible. Alright, so now skill damage now adds up to 40%, strength adds up to 20%. This is quite significant. Now you can create some new combos that are more efficient when it comes to stats, because otherwise you're going to have some stats overflow. You're going to miss out some stats if your combo consists of 2 5-star cards that just so happens to have an overlap that doesn't quite work out. Well, this is good. Now, this is exactly why I'm going to need to wait until the update is done to look at all the worm prints and before I can make that worm print guide that I was talking about. It'll take a little bit of time, but no worries. I'll do it! I'll do it! Because this game deserves it! Anyway, we'll talk about that when I get there. The final avenue has just include a boss. Okay. Other than additional, there will be more. Alright, so there's gonna be a boss. Perhaps they'll drop something interesting. Maybe. To defeat all unclear moisture falling trees, eliminate a specific threat. Okay, so there's a boss to kill. Yeah, there's always been a boss to kill to watch falling trees. That's not important. Okay, issues. Yeah, Kuhai performed Force Strike after using Keen Blade. Enemy collisions. Oh, that's not cool. Enemy collision and they no longer applied is kind of nice. I like the idea when Kuhai or Albert just flies all over the place without getting interrupted. Now that there's collision, you might end up not being able to go the distance, shall we say. Trap damage. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, this is. Okay, good. I'm glad that. Glorious Guard. Certain attacks hit more while under its effects. These are basic bug changes. They're not that important. Oh. That's interesting. Now you will actually be able to fill gauge from doing bleeding, burning, or poison damage. Image penalty. Oh, okay, alright. It displays as a 9. Binding uncertain. Do not display. Oh, that's a stupid one. That one's really stupid. So, Burke actually found that as well, and what Burke found out was that if High Mercury is on one side of the map, if you run on the other side of the map, you can avoid that stupid shower attack that High Mercury uses, bubbles to protect you, the Spear of Salvation. I think basically that it's just they kind of did a bit of an oversight, and High Mercury didn't have a high enough range when you use that attack. Well, now they increase the range, everything's fine again. Just use those bubbles, you'll be okay. Or activate Dragon. Use a Dragon, you'll be safe too. Alright, so that's about it for all the update information on this specific update. Most importantly, it's definitely the summoning thing that's changed the game around. And I'm looking forward to seeing how many Eldborder I end up getting. But that's pretty much it. I'm not going to continue boring you with my non-stop talking. But I hope you enjoy this little conversation that we had and bouncing spears that I have on my chest. I thank you all for watching. Until next time.